1 in 10 children will be sexually abused in their lifetime. And that's really hard to hear.
If you take that statistic and apply it to Missouri, in Missouri alone, over 158,000 children will be sexually abused. But since sexual abuse is something that we don't talk about because it embarrasses us, these children are being sexually abused, and a lot of times nothing is being done. And that's why I started Green Bear.
So Green Bear really came from Lisa Stone. Lisa has been a foster parent for a very long time.
Well, I think the reason I got into foster care was I was a pediatric nurse and had been a pediatric nurse for many years and saw a couple of situations where kids had been abused, and I decided I wanted to help those kids, so I became a foster parent. One of the sibling groups that came to live with me, baby Ty was the youngest sibling in that group, and they actually stayed with me for 6 months. And Ty, when he came to live with me, was 18 months old. He was a precious little boy, blonde hair, blue-eyed. He laughed, and he was a joy in our life. He had parents that did everything on their treatment plan. They did everything that they were supposed to do. 6 months after he came to live with me, he went home. Early one Saturday morning, my daughter and I and some other foster kids were watching the Saturday morning news, and his name came up.
And so we just kind of stopped what we were doing and looked at the TV, and it said that, that he had been beaten and that he was in the hospital, and that his parents were being charged with that.
So I called the news station to find out what had happened, and they told me he was in the hospital in Kentucky. You always hear stories like you see Lifetime movies where someone's not going to make it and the mother walks in the room and they miraculously wake up. And I really thought that that might happen. I am a Christian. I believe in Christ and I believe in the power of prayer. When I went in the room, the first thing I saw was the pressure in his brain, and it was very, very high. And so I asked the nurses why they weren't doing what they should be doing to bring the fluid down, and they said, "We've done everything we can. There's nothing else that we can do." Ty stayed on the ventilator for about 4 to 5 days, and I was there every day. And I was actually there when they took him off life support. To say that I was sad would be an understatement. I was devastated because here's this little boy that I really thought was going home to a good home. When I got home after the funeral, I just was very, very depressed.
We just fell so in love with him and his brother and sister. We loved them too very much. And he was just so full of life, so perfect. I remember that he loved going out and being with our papa on the farm, and he loved seeing the cows, and he just was so special. He was very special. So hearing about his death was devastating.
Lisa had to find some way to channel her sorrow.
The idea came to me to go to schools and teach kids about abuse, and that's why I started the Green Bear program. And the reason we call it Green Bear is because when Ty came to live with me, he had to have his ears worked on. He had to put tubes in his ears. And so I let him go pick out an animal, a stuffed toy at the store, and he picked out this little bear, ugly little bear. And I said, "Ty, what are you gonna name this Green Bear?" And he said, "Green Bear," and that was his name. And after he went home, Green Bear got left behind, and whenever I saw that bear, that idea came to me, just because that little bear gave Ty comfort. I want to help comfort other kids and let them know it's okay to tell if they're being abused.
The program, we feel like, is imperative. We teach children all kinds of personal safety things. Look both ways before you cross the street, wear your seatbelt. But sometimes it's difficult for parents to talk with kids about their body, about touches that are not okay, about having the ability and the freedom to come forward and say, "This happened to me and it's not okay," or "You're crossing a boundary with me and that's not okay with me."
We go to the schools, we go to local schools. Sometimes we went to vacation Bible schools. We've went to Girl Scout organization, Boy Scout organization. Whoever asks us to come, we're gonna come and present the Green Bear program with you.
We know it works. As a forensic interviewer, I have had multiple children over the years who have been disclosing about their habitual abuse, things that have gone on for a long time. And towards the end of the interview, I'll ask them, "What happened that you decided to tell?" And so many of them have said, "Green Bear came to my school and told me it was okay to tell and talked to me about who I could tell about those things." So hearing that that program is intervening for those kids, but also preventing further victimization is just so rewarding and huge for us.
I enjoy hearing those stories. It's sad that it's happening to a child, but it makes me feel good to know that that child is going to get the help that they need. And if we weren't there, how many hundreds of children would not be getting the help that they need? What happened to Ty was horrible, and I didn't want that to happen to another child. And I know I'm not preventing all children from being abused, but I am preventing some children from being abused. And I really, really feel that way, or I wouldn't do what I'm doing.